Hey everybody, welcome back to Friday Night Modern Magic at GameSwap in Mason, Ohio, brought to you by Top Deck Productions, streaming on Twitch TV. Again, I'm Mark Anliker here with Mario Krabari.
Welcome back, guys.
And we will be guiding your journey through this exciting matchup of Grixis Death Shadow
Grixis Death Shadow
versus
evidently.
Jund. Now, I believe Robert is actually on just Jund.
Just classic Jund.
Yeah, not Jund Death Shadow, just regular old Jund.
All right.
So we'll see how this plays out. I think typical Jund does have a good matchup against these shadow decks because they've got the removal packages to deal with it. But you know, Grixis generates a lot of value with things like Kolaghan Snapcaster, and sometimes if Robert doesn't have the hate for that, things like Kolaghan Snapcaster can just generate too much advantage for these Jund decks.
The blue in this Grixis list is probably going to be the most important color.
Yeah, because for a lot of reasons they're playing kind of the same deck here. They both got some Fatal Push, some Terminate, some Kolaghan's Command, but
maybe some Liliana's.
Yeah, but for Kory, you know, Snapcaster Kolaghan's is the reason to play the deck.
So looks like Robert is happy with his hand, but it may just be this Raging Ravine. I'm not sure if he has additional lands. I can't quite tell.
I will say I think these orange sleeves kind of clash with the red-green Raging Ravine. Is that just me?
You don't like the fashion?
To me it's just, I don't know, it makes the Raging Ravine red look orange, but I know it's not orange.
It could just be very faded out.
And so it just I just don't like it. All right, we'll see a turn 1 fetch shock from Kory. And he could be playing any one drop here. Could be a Serum Visions or a Hand Disruption, but it could be a Thought Scour if he wants to play it main phase for some reason.
It is a Serum Visions.
Oh, and he's got the promo Serum Visions, which I've always found a little strange. I think those things are...
It's a little weird.
Have you heard the jokes people make about that Serum Visions? Yes,
Symmetra Man, this is in fact live.
Okay, yeah.
Something ridiculous. There you go.
Team Jund. Gross.
Gross with the Team Jund?
We'll see Robert with the Twilight Mire, which means he can make many different permutations of mana. But he did have to tap. Robert did have to tap 2 mana there to play his Inquisition.
I doubt he has another use for that other floating black mana.
It's like his opponent had a Thalia in play, but it was actually just Robert's awkward mana.
Right. That is one of the disadvantages of Twilight Mire.
So this is a good hand from Kory.
From the Death Shadow, yeah.
Very good hand. We've got
everything he wants in there.
We've got the Delve Threat with the Thought Scour to power it out, like Dark Ritual draw a card style. We've got the Kolaghan's Command and the Snapcaster. Now, of course, he doesn't have a Snapcaster anymore, but Kolaghan's back the Snapcaster. Geez, that's a good Grixis hand. We'll see if Robert has the tools to deal with it.
Yeah, you know, the fish, Gurmag Angler, usually pretty tough to deal with. Robert likely has Terminate, maybe a Dismember, but the rest of his removal not gonna be able to take it down. Yeah.
So right now, actually, Kory is not playing Grixis Death Shadow. He's playing Blue-Black Fish.
Blue-Black Fish.
Blue-Black Fish. Yeah, a popular variant of Merfolk where you just play Watery Graves and Gurmag Anglers.
And gigantic fish.
Gigantic, just only the big fish. It's like, what's that band, Real Big Fish?
That is, yes.
Right,
that's what Kory's on.
There's also that movie, Big Fish, I think it's called. It's a movie about this father who tells stories, and I saw it a long time ago.
Not familiar with that one.
It was bad, but I think it won some awards.
Well, we see the big fish here. Kory just put about 6 cards in his graveyard. He Thought Scoured himself and cycled a Shriek Wraith. So we could see a fish. Yeah,
so sometimes you get to play 7 drops for 1 mana.
That's true. This is one of those times. Instead, he's going to go Serum Visions.
All right, I guess that's fine. I kind of just want to see the fish.
Yeah, I mean, it seems pretty good here.
Would the fish have required him to delve away Snapcaster there?
Potentially.
1, 2, 3, 4. I can't quite tell. If the fish would have required him to delve away Snapcaster, I think that's a valid play to just go for the Visions.
The fish also would have been really bad in the face of Robert's potential Liliana of the Veil.
Sure, yeah. You don't want to run that fish out to the Swamp Lady.
To the slaughter?
Not
to the slaughter. Well, kind of. It's a similar effect.
Yeah, similar. To the Slaughter is actually I wanted to say, To the Slaughter is a good card in Modern. No one really plays it. I have seen it in the sideboard of some Abzan lists. But, you know, if you have Delirium you can instant speed make your opponent sack a creature for 3 splashable mana.
Sure.
And sack a planeswalker.
That's true.
That's pretty dope.
Okay, so both players are choosing what to discard. Kory's having a tough decision since his hand was so great. Doesn't want to get rid of anything in it.
Yeah, this Liliana is going to be pretty brutal because Kory, no matter what threat he resolves, it's almost certainly just going to die immediately.
Kory discards the land. All right.
It looks like Kory's drew a Thoughtseize and has a Stubborn
Denial. He's got a Thoughtseize, he's got the fish, he's got Stubborn Denial, Kolaghan's Command.
See, I would have liked to see Kory, if he was playing around Liliana by not casting Gurmag Angler, he could have also played around it by holding up blue and Stubborn Denying it.
Right.
You know, because even though he doesn't have a creature in play, that Stub Dub is going to make his opponent still pay 1, which of course Robert can't do on turn 3. Unless Robert has the pocket Simian Spirit Guide.
You never know. Hey, at this point, I mean, Liliana might be pretty hard to deal with.
Yeah, well, Robert's actually got a second one in hand.
Oof.
So even if Kory finds an answer to this one, he's going to be pretty down in the dumps when he sees the second one come down.
The big fish not looking great when it can get sacrificed.
Yep.
And even if so, I mean, Robert could just make him sacrifice the fish and then play his other Liliana too and cause him to discard. And his great hand is quickly crumbling.
Yeah, and this is one of the reasons that Jund still has a good matchup against these Death Shadow decks.
Sure.
Liliana of the Veil is a straight beating. Just a straight beating.
So it looks like we're going to see a Thoughtseize here from Kory. And
Scavengers, Liliana, Kolaghan's.
He is not happy to see that.
Yeah, that's a hand. The Kolaghan's here isn't great for Robert because he doesn't have a creature in the yard, and making his opponent discard isn't super relevant.
Sure.
And the 2 damage is not super relevant, nor is the artifact.
So
but
just not relevant.
Just not relevant. Not relevant all through and through. But these other 2 cards, the second Lily and the Scoos. Yeah, we'll see Kory take the Scoos.
That's an interesting take to me because, as you just said, there's no creature in the graveyard for Kolaghan's Command, but now there is. So.
Yeah, that seems maybe a little unwise, and especially if you're taking the Liliana, what you're telling your opponent is, I'm not going to be able to deal with the first Liliana.
And it doesn't look like Kory's going to be able to.
Yeah, and if you can't deal with the first one, you're going to lose the game. That's how Liliana works.
Yes.
So
there is some merit to discarding the Scavenging Ooze, however, because Kory would be able to counter any of these other threats in Robert's hand with the Stubborn Denial.
True. Yeah, and he does know now that Robert is not necessarily on. He'd have to top deck a land here to cast either of these cards through a Stubborn Denial.
Well, no, now he can't. He can't cast it at all because the fish gives him Ferocious. But of course, the fish is now gone.
Sure,
so you're right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but the fish being sacked there.
Are there any Amonkhet cards in either of these sideboards? You know, Symmetra Man. Prior to our FNM today, I tried to convince Robert to put Hazoret into his deck as a 4-drop because Jund's kind of flexible with their 4-drops, and Hazoret, I saw somebody play this in Magic Online coming out of the sideboard, and it was pretty powerful. I mean,
yeah, we compared it directly to Pia and Kiran,
right?
And interestingly, so Hazoret is a much better clock, which sometimes is relevant, and Hazoret allows you to continually top deck off your library, which is really relevant when you have like something like a Liliana in play that's shredded both players' hands.
Sure.
Hazoret gets right into shred mode himself because you have no cards, and then all of your bad draws off the top can become 2 damage. But notably, that 2 damage does not hit creatures, right? Whereas Pia and Kira can obviously, sack those Thopters, hit creatures. And then most notably, those Thopters are great blockers, especially against cards like Etched Champion.
Right.
In fact, you can block an Etched Champion twice or block 2 Etched Champions or sit 2 of those Thopters in front of one Etched Champion and kill it.
And that was Robert's end reason for not getting the Hazoret. He thought about it, though.
But I think that's a cool option.
Yeah.
One thing I also wanted to say in regards to that question, Symmetra Man, I don't think Robert is playing a Sweltering Suns, but obviously Sweltering Suns is kind of a neat card. Even though Anger of the Gods is very relevant with the Exile clause against a lot of decks running Voice of Resurgence or Prized Amalgam or Bloodghast, but Sweltering Suns is neat because when you run Scavenging Ooze, Sweltering Suns allows you to wipe the board and then still have fodder left to grow your Scavenging Ooze.
So this.
So anyway, sorry to derail there.
Yeah. So what we saw there was Kory used Kolaghan's Command to kill Robert's Liliana.
That's a big deal.
And he left up Stubborn Denial. And Robert, unfortunately, had his fast land on turn 4, so it did come in tap. But Robert played around Stubborn Denial by, instead of deploying his second Liliana, he deployed the Scavenging Ooze here, because next turn he will be able to play around Stubborn Denial. Although not through this Tasker. So Robert looking to cast Tasker here. He's going to delve some cards out of his graveyard.
And so Robert's going to choose to leave just the lands, I think, which means that whatever. So Robert, by leaving just the lands, Robert has a lot of control over over what cards he can get back with Tasker.
It also depowers this this Scavenging Ooze because he wanted to get the creatures out of his graveyard. Yeah. Oof. This Thoughtseize is unfortunately going to probably strip the Stubborn Denial here, unless Kory's just going to fire it off.
Yep, I think that's the play. You don't want him to see what your last card is.
Sure.
Oh, baby. The
double Stubborn Denial. Wow, that put Kory right back in this. I mean, he was losing. He was running out of resources.
Yeah, well, the Kolaghan's command on the Liliana was timely. If that Liliana had one more turn to plus up, things were going to be bad news bears for Kory.
So,
but
I know this. Kory doesn't. Robert still has a Huntmaster in hand, so that can be a pretty big presence.
Yeah, that can take the
Kory
game away
have an
here. Especially a Huntmaster with this Raging Ravine. If Robert finds another land to be able to ship all those up together, he can go wide enough to just swing past Kory's blocker and kill him.
So we're gonna see Kory activate Tasker here. He milled a Thought Scour and a Fatal Push, so Robert gets to choose which card to give him back.
If Robert's got a Huntmaster in hand, I wonder if he just give him a Stubborn Denial. I mean, you could give him the Thought Scour, but
well, he also doesn't know if Kory has an untapped land, so Stubborn Denial might be the right call.
But I could see Thought Scour being right too.
Yeah. So Jund used black on that turn. He has the filter land Twilight Mire, which lets him add 2 black from 1 black or 1 green. And then he also had the Black Cleave Cliffs. Yeah, here's Huntmaster.
Yeah, Huntmaster's big here. In fact, if they're in a real top deck war, which they're slowly getting into one, that Huntmaster is just gonna flip.
Right.
Even just the one flip from a player casting no spells, that'll deal 2 damage to Kory, and then also take his Tasker off of attacking or blocking duties by doing 2 damage to it.
And with bolts in his deck, the 2 damage against Kory could bring Robert pretty close to finishing him off.
Now, I don't think Robert is playing any bolts.
I think I saw one.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was an old style one.
Is Kory playing bolts?
I don't know.
I've seen
he's playing Terminates.
I've seen both these decks cutting a lot of bolts, which I don't like, but.
So Huntmaster not going to get to do any flipping or flopping.
Well, still a good 2 for 1.
It's
and
true.
Robert is at a very healthy life total.
That's true.
So it's going to be very hard for Kory
it might take a while without a Death Shadow, of course.
Yeah, sure.
So Kory's going to Thought Scour himself and pass the turn. Looks like Robert drew a Tarmogoyf, or has a Tarmogoyf, and drew another Thoughtseize.
Is that a land?
Thoughtseize, land.
Land Thoughtseize.
Down goes Thoughtseize, and here comes Tarmogoyf.
So Robert Meadows at 190 life here. No.
Okay.
Yeah, so Robert leaving up green here with Raging Ravine is pretty good, because that means even a top deck Snapcaster from Kory is not going to be any good.
Right, yeah, so we see Robert did have a bolt in his graveyard there. So.
Oh, okay. I wonder how many he has. Do you think? I'm doubtful he's
2?
got 4.
Going with 2.
2? Could be 2.
Oh, and Kory is not going to be able to block. Apparently, man, he's gonna die to Tarmogoyf plus Scooz and Wolf.
I'm not sure if did they just fast forward a turn.
Well, Kory, yeah, I mean Kory saw. I'm guessing Kory didn't have another blocker, and the Scavenging Ooze was going to become large enough to kill with the Wolf if Tarmogoyf was blocked.
Yeah.
So he basically must have not had a removal spell or another blocker there. So Robert, Jump's still good.
But did I miss something? I thought that Goyf still had Summoning Sickness, and so Kory had another draw step. Did Kory draw his card?
Yeah, I think Kory drew his card and then
got it.
And then saw the writing on the wall.
Yeah, I don't know. I think. Well, I guess Robert's at a healthy life total, so it doesn't really. It's not like he can bluff his opponent to doing anything rash.
Yeah, it might have been. It might have been a bit.
But you never
hasty,
know. You could always bluff Robert here. So what do we what do we think these players are bringing in? I would guess Robert wants some mild graveyard hate. The scavenging use is good, but you got to make sure you've got a plan for Snapcaster Colligans.
Right.
And the Delve, obviously. So I wonder if Robert has, Nile Spellbomb or Leyline of the Void.
Right. Maybe a relic.
Something like that.
Well, probably not a relic. He doesn't want to exile his own graveyard.
Yeah. But other than that, Robert I think is poised here. Liliana the Veil is just great.
Sure.
For Kory, it's it's really hard to fight.
It's hard to fight Jund.
Yeah, it's hard to fight against a Jund deck. Kory could, if Kory has any more copies of Kolaghan's Command in the sideboard, I've seen a lot of decks like Grixis Shadow go 3 in the main, 1 in the side. Bring that 4th copy in. You're gonna need it for the grind. But gonna be an interesting matchup.
So I don't know. An interesting sideboard option of Kory might be Engineered Explosives. On 2, that takes out a lot of Robert's threats. Tarmogoyf, Scavenging Ooze.
Take out the Scoos, take out the Dark Confidant.
Sure.
Yeah, that could be good.
Yeah. I mean, he gets to control it since he doesn't have many 2-drops other than Snapcaster in his own deck.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that being good. I wonder if we'll see that come in. Oh, and I did want to address again in the chat. So as you see, we've posted a link to the Top Deck Productions Patreon. If you've got some extra cash floating around and you want to support your favorite MTG local stream, it's a great way to keep our services live. I just became a member last week, getting involved with the Patreon with a sustaining membership. It's very easy to do. You can get involved with a one-time contribution or a sustaining deal. But either way, it really helps the folks at the stream out keep providing these services that we do. And so yeah, get involved. The link is right there.
Right, and if you guys like what we're doing, we're looking into maybe expanding what content we show. We do have a YouTube page, and we might try to get some deck text up on there, some player interviews, so you can really get immersed in the content.
Yeah, we're also been on and off working on developing having content between rounds.
Sure.
So doing deck text, like between rounds 1 and 2 after the match ends. We're also trying to, sometimes set up a second match. So stay tuned, and we'll let you know the kind of new content we're bringing you.
Yes, that is true. Magic players might not be the most wealthy, but if you like the content, it's not very expensive to support us.
Yeah, it really doesn't take much to get involved. I mean, even just $1 for good luck is helpful and goes a long way. The streaming has obviously some costs between the equipment, the internet and all those things. But so helping out with whatever you can really does go a long way. But yeah, I'm in agreement here. So Magic players, in some ways, are like drug addicts, but that does mean they have a lot of money.
That's true. Perhaps
you gotta. It's more about it's less of a money problem and more of a more of a priorities problem.
Sure. And an unknown darkness has greeted you.
Oh, hey, unknown darkness. I wish I knew who you were, but you are unknown. Unknown darkness.
That is true. They're the 47th unknown darkness.
47. That's I think I know some of the other unknown darknesses, but that one is maybe one of the even lesser knowns. Feral Fool. Well, I don't know anyone with the last name Fool.
I think the first word might be his last name.
No,
it's clear. Doesn't ring a bell.
Feral Fool is clearly a first name and a last name.
That's true.
My guess is it's someone from the Fool family, but that could be a pseudonym.
Okay.
But I don't even know the Fool family, so. Yeah, so back to the match here. Players are still sideboarding, and they're engaging in a lively conversation
about Gurmag Angler.
Yeah, the big fish, as we mentioned.
Is the R spin Feral Fool? Maybe that's it.
that could be.
Kory will be on the play here, so that's a pretty good advantage. But
looks like he's got 2 lands.
No,
he's got 1 land. Serum Visions.
Yeah, but he has already molded 6, so he is going to keep his hand.
Yeah, I think you got to keep that.
Probably going to lead off on a Serum Visions here.
Well, Unknown Darkness is getting a little aggressive in the chat here.
Actually, we would like it if you came down here. You could support the shop.
Yes, if you came down here. Yeah, by the way, I do know this Farrell. His name is Michael Farrell. He's a stream regular, and I'm not sure where he is. Michael Farrell, where are you right now? Did you have to work? Couldn't come to Friday Night Modern? He, I guess maybe Mike hasn't been. Maybe Mike doesn't usually come on Fridays. I guess lately he's been more of a in the Tuesday crowd.
A Tuesday guy
for Modern, but.
So Kory did lead off with his Seer Visions, but I don't think he found a second land yet. Hopefully the second Seer Vision gets him there.
Yeah, hello. He's scrying as best he can. So Kory has 2 Stubborn Denials, and he's getting dangerously close to casting this Tasker. But if he doesn't find a land here to deal with his, okay, he's got the land.
Yeah, he kept one on top with the second Seer Visions.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, if he didn't have a land there, that Bob was going to get out of control.
Right.
And you're not going to do much with Terminate, Double Stubborn Denial.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Lollytime. Thanks for watching.
So we'll see Kory crack this fetch.
Right. He could get a red source here if he wants to terminate, Bob.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to terminate it. He doesn't want to give this thing any untap steps.
Sure.
That would be pretty bad. Unless he's on the plan of hoping your opponent somehow draws 10 cards with their Dark Confidant and kills himself before he kills you.
Maybe Robert's running the old Emrakul.
Yeah, maybe Robert could reveal the Emrakul.
You never know.
Hey, you know some of these black-green decks do run the Delirium
Traverse
the Ulvenwald Emrakul package, but
sure.
Usually the people doing that, yeah, they don't have the balls to run the Dark Confidant with it.
And here we see turn 3 Lily. Looks pretty good as it did last game.
Yep, it does. And that's how you get punished for terminating there and not holding up Stubborn Denial. But I think you have to terminate there. You can't.
You don't even give him one draw.
I think so. I mean, this Liliana is going to be tough too, but you give your opponent any draws with that Confidant.
All right, so Metroman, so the cards thus far. So Robert played a 2-drop creature called Dark Confidant. Every turn, he reveals a card from his library. He gets to draw that card, but he also takes damage equal to the amount of the mana cost of that card. So it can be risky, but it also just draws you a lot of cards. And Kory decided to just destroy the Dark Confidant as to not give Robert any advantage.
But of course, Robert punished him with the turn 3 Lily that Kory could have countered with Stubborn Denial.
Right.
So yeah, pretty tough here. But you know, Kory last game came back from a situation almost exactly like this.
Well, he almost came back.
Well, sure, yeah. He last game Kory played a Delve Threat, forcing Robert to use Liliana's minus ability to make him sacrifice a creature, after which Kory used a Kolaghan's command, dealing 2 damage to the 2 loyalty Liliana. So, but yeah, now it's at 5 loyalty. 5 loyalty is kind of that key number here, because that means even once it goes down to 3 by sacrificing, it's out of Kolaghan's range.
Right.
It's not out of Bolt range if he has to sacrifice, but you know, I'm not sure Kory's playing any bolts. A lot of the people at the at GP Las Vegas were not playing any bolts.
They were not running any bolts. Nope.
Yeah.
Just fatal pushes. So Kory, I think he wanted to leave up Stubborn Denial there maybe, but of course you cannot Stubborn Denial Tarmogoyf, as Stubborn Denial only counters non-creature spells.
Yeah, if you thought that Denial was stubborn, wait till you see this Tarmogoyf.
Things are not looking great for Kory.
No.
Taking Liliana down from this much loyalty is going to be tough. Yeah, so Metroman, Dark Confidant, one of the best 2-drops in the format.
one of the favorite and most competitively prevalent tournament champion invitational cards. Probably only second to Snapcaster.
Right.
Some of the others are not necessarily great cards.
Shadow Mage Infiltrator.
Shadow Mage Infiltrator is not great. Ranger of Eos is very good.
That's true.
What's the name of the 1-drop green guy? Sylvan Safekeeper. That card is a
familiar with that one.
Yeah, that's an invitational champion, and that card's not bad. I've actually seen it show up in Legacy. That card it sacrifices a land to give a creature Shroud. He's just like a 1-drop 1/1 human or 1-drop 1/1 elf. Right. Meddling Mage is a good one. Yep.
So Kory, I don't know if he has this in hand, but it might be possible that he casts 2 Gurmag Anglers this turn. He has the Delve mana for it, and he's left up 2 black, and he has at least 1 Gromag Angler. That might be one of the few ways he starts to edge his way back into this board state. Because just playing 1 threat is going to die to Liliana, so.
Oh, by the way, is Avalanche Riders an invitational card, or did I make that up?
I do not know. He did play 2 Delta Threats. Look at that. All right.
Yeah, so 2 Delta Threats is not bad here, but of course, you know, Robert can still make him sack 1 and then block with his Tarmogoyf.
Right.
Robert actually has the loyalty to make Kory sacrifice 2 creatures. So
he also might have a way to remove one of them here at the end step, perhaps a...
Yep, got the Terminate.
Yep, that's not good.
Yeah, this is looking like bad news bears round 2 for Kory.
So it looks like Avalanche Rider
so
is
Avalanche Rider is a that's what I thought. Yeah, they're all.
Did it destroy a land?
Yeah. So it's I believe it's a 4-drop 2/2 haste with Echo.
With Echo, and it destroys a land.
It destroys a land. Yep.
I would have liked to see that card here. I don't know if it's modern legal.
Yeah, it is modern legal. Okay. People play it sometimes in red-green Ponza, but there was a time when it was played in Jund as well.
Sure.
In Jund, it was
that
a lot
flex
better.
4-drop spot.
In sort of it was better during the Bloodbraid Elf era.
Okay,
Jund.
that makes sense. So yeah, here we see Terminate taking out Tasigur, Liliana taking out Gromag Angler, and Kory out of threats. Rude Water Thief. Is that another invitational card?
I actually don't. You know, I don't know that one. I don't know that one.
Root Water Thief.
I'm actually kind of curious. I'm going to look it up right now on my smartphone. Solemn Simulacrum is one. Yep.
Kai Booty, I think, is on Solemn.
What is that called? Root Water Thief. I assume it's not. I assume it's thief spelled correctly, or is it intentionally misspelled thief?
Hey, don't be rude.
Root Water Thief.
Oh, here we go. We can just bring it up. Yeah, Void Mage Prodigy, also an invitational card. Okay, Root Water. That is an interesting card there.
Oh wow, yeah. There's a lot of text on this guy. I'm actually not very good at reading cards with text, so.
You only like the cards without text?
Yeah, no, I'll take a look at this later, but I like cards like Wild Nikotl. Just enough text to make it mostly not needing to be read, you know.
So Kory kind of had a good play there. He Snapcaster back Terminate to remove one of the Tarmogoyfs, and now he's able to attack Liliana.
Yeah, I also sleeve my decks in front of my computer, so I totally understand that. It's probably the best way to sleeve your decks. Your other options are to do it at the kitchen table or on the floor. And in the kitchen, you know, you can get the cards dirty or greasy or covered in food, which sort of defeats the purpose of sleeves. And the floor is not too good on your back, so I'm a big fan of sleeving cards at the computer table.
Well, Kory was able to remove all of Robert's present threats, except for Raging Ravine, which might come a rage in here. Haha. So interesting play from Robert, opting to discard his Fatal Push that he had enough mana to activate Raging Ravine here.
Yep, Raging Ravine is good. So Kory goes to 1.
And he's not going to be able to block Raging Ravine next turn as Snapcaster will get eaten up by Liliana.
Yeah, so both these games, Robert just absolutely ran away with the Liliana.
On the back of Liliana.
Yep.
It ran off into the sunset.
It ran off into the sunset. The Caged Sun Swamp Sunset.
Sure.
Yeah, Liliana is evil. She is very good against these Death Shadow decks. Really, if your deck doesn't go wide but relies on creatures, Liliana's just a beating.
Unless Kory has a removal spell here, I don't think he has an out. He's thinking about it. No, he's got something.
Maybe he's got his own Liliana.
I suppose Kolaghan's command keeps him alive for a turn.
Yeah, Kolaghan's command, get back your...
Right.
Yeah, but now he can't play this
He
Tasker.
can't recast Caster, but what that did is it made it so Liliana can't force him to sacrifice.
Can't sack. So yeah, he's got the Snapcaster to block. Oh, its second Raging Ravine is pretty brutal.
Yeah.
And then he has to discard the Tasker.
Yeah, that's game.
Yep.
Classic Jund.
Liliana of the Veil, folks. LOTV, not to be confused with LOTR.
Lord of the Rings.
That's right.
Liliana of the Realm.
Liliana of the rings. Well, anyway, we will be back with round 3 in probably about half an hour. Let us know in chat if there are any decks you guys want to see.
Somebody suggested elves, but I don't think anyone here is playing elves, unfortunately.
There might be, though. We can look. There are quite a few players here tonight, as there always are on Friday, so we'll do some snooping around for you, see what we can find. But no matter what, we'll be bringing you a great, exciting matchup of Modern. But yeah, leave us any comments or questions in the chat.
All right. Thanks, guys.